Yeah, speaking of black anime characters, why do you think black people are so temperamental? I just pulled a Charlamagne the God right there.
You did, but it's gonna bring it back to Naruto for me for a bit. Cause I don't know about you, but the first time I saw it when the Raikage debuted, I was like, the first black nigga in this show, they would make him a rapper. Did you know that did you know that he was a rapper?
He's a poet.
He was no, he was not a poet. He literally called himself a rapper.
No, yeah.
And I was like, bro, that's so like I guess at the time I thought it was racist, but I was like, if you're marketing this to the America, they gonna love that shit.
You thought that was more racist than Popo?
I mean, Popo low key could have been Arabic. He could have been Arabic.
Hey, shout out to the Japanese man.
Yes, Masashi Kishimoto. No, I just fucked Akira Toriyama is Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, bro. Popo. Yeah, the Raikage, bro, being a rapper with cornrows and having drip and all that shit. I was like, yo, he looks dope. I'm glad he fucked Sasuke up. I just don't like that he's a rapper.
Speaking of which, that means you know Frieza was at least German. He was German. He had to be German. Some form of elite Aryan like mentality.
Genocide?
Yeah.
You say genocide, bro? Yo, you know what that makes me laugh? Because he was on some like, and Frieza was a male too. I just couldn't get up. I was like, this nigga sounds like my mom. But he's strong as fuck. Yeah, I was like, it was kind of either or. You just didn't know. I didn't know that, like, I didn't think he was chill until he had an older brother that was named Cooler.
Yo, that's how I felt though about you remember Haku in the first arc in Naruto? I was like, is this the one with the ice powers?
Oh yeah,
I was like, is this a girl or a boy?
Yeah. They did
When I was younger, I
switching,
literally couldn't
huh?
understand. Yeah. I was like, oh
Yeah.
it's a boy.
But that ice shit was dope. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, why do you think black people are so temperamental in real life? In today's time.
I would say a lack of unity and having a whole lot of shit stolen. And having to work for little to no. Having to work hard and have it stolen. In regards to like the Black Wall Street, all of that shit. I feel like that was something that was worked for since slavery, and a bomb took that shit away. Set a whole lot of niggas back. So, yeah. I would say it seems as though, the blueprint was stolen. And the blueprint is what is making a whole lot of niggas money.
Got
Why
you.
not niggas?
Got you.
So yeah, I feel like you would be mad, Yeah, that's all I would say.
The reason why I ask is because I was just walking around like in public and stuff, and like I noticed how many white people smile at me when you make eye contact.
Like how?
It's just like,
Oh yeah.
they do that
I used to get exposed. Huh? Like Spock.
but it's like I even find myself doing it, but then I notice that like whenever my eye contact with black people, it's always like this mean mugging, like almost like defensive type thing, and it made me think like, fuck, like why can't I be the one that smiles at people, just randomly in public? Like, hey, how's it going, man? Yep, doing good over there. I'm talking about in the context of the gym, but it made me think like, fuck, like where does this come from that I have to like have like this demeanor to me, like puffed up chest, hard shoulder type personality when engaging with public and like in strangers.
I would say society. If you're perceived as soft, you're darker skinned, niggas do not respect you. They just don't. Your life is against you. You need to be hard as fuck. You know what I mean? Because life is all the odds are stacked. They're stacked. They're not as stacked anymore because of social media, but they're still fucking stacked.
Yeah. Do you think that's trained or taught?
I
Or
think it's
wait,
both.
you think that's taught or teach? I said, dumbass. I just said, do you think that's trained or taught? Do you think that's
I think it's taught by parents, and it is something is inherent in the curriculum. I feel like, yeah.
what I was trying to say was, do you think that comes from nature or just nurture?
Ooh. So it reminds me of like, I don't know if you know who Willie Lynch is, but if you've heard of this dude, he wrote a letter basically. I forget where he was from, but I believe he was European. But he basically wrote a letter to a lot of slave owners in Virginia, basically telling them how he achieved slavery on his plantation that would like basically put everything that Rome did and their kind of psychology behind like the way they built their slavery system to shit. And he basically said, you gotta break in the female nigga. You prioritize the infant and you take the most wild, restless male nigga. You strap him to a horse. You have all the other niggas watch. You take their alpha, you rip him apart, you destroy their image, and then you beat the rest of the male niggas within an inch of their life. And he was like, you put the fear of God in them. That way, the female will raise her infant to be like her in her psychology, to where the female is now the more dominant one. And I was like, wow, shit, that shit, like, it's so thick. Just hearing that just make me mad, because it's like, fuck, bro. That's the reality, especially when a whole lot of male niggas aren't at the house. The female becomes the dominant one, but it's like it's a psychology that was like purposed, strategically like implemented. And that to me is, I would say, like, if you've been strategized against since before you were born and it's inherent in your fucking DNA, of course you have some temperaments in that shit.
And at what point do you think that will, I guess, stop affecting us? Because I mean, it sounds like a lot of like subconscious things that I could even correlate that to like and today with a lot of like different demeanors that we have within the community. But like, at what point do you think that no longer becomes like a factor, or is there a point where that no longer becomes a factor? Back to you, Josh, at KTL 5.
No, because I guess you could say I'm weighing what I was about to say. Oh. But bro, I really feel as though as a black man, and just as someone who is African American, as they say, as it is, as we're known, until you have some credibility, you're not really respected. So I feel like that inherently has an effect on your self-worth growing up, that I don't know if it is the same with other ethnicities growing up with the same, because there are different things inherently built into all of that shit based off of like history. But I feel like what would stop it is if African American people prioritized helping other African Americans and unifying. Who's gonna stop that shit? We have the hottest music, the fashion, money. We came up with Wall Street because of segregation. We couldn't fuck with nobody else, so we was fucking with ourselves, and that's what grew it. And then they bombed that shit, took that, and that's what became Wall Street in New York. I just feel like it was just kind of like, yo, bro. I feel like a lot of African American people just don't know how powerful they are, and if we all like linked up, ganged up, so to speak, in a real way, we could do whatever the fuck we wanted, to be honest. But I also feel as though a lot of ego would get into that shit. So you have to have, the Lord at the center in order for there to be like proper order and unification. I feel like that would have to be first and foremost. Yeah.
For me, it's always hard to relate because like my mom was able to create an opportunity for me to not have to really deal with all that as much, because with her joining the military, Like I was just able to live a good amount of my development years outside of America, like on different military bases and stuff like that. But it's a very different experience, you know. And so like for me, like I never had any of that to really like try to hold me back. I mean, she tried to like, I guess like prepare me for when we like came back and stuff like that. And I got a little bit older into like middle school and stuff like that. And I always had a chip on my shoulder to like prove myself as like the smartest or like equal in some regard. But yeah, I was always more like fat shamed than black shamed. I didn't even actually. Damn. I guess I was black shamed because I never qualified enough to be black, which always pissed me off. From
other people,
well, from us people.
Why?
They just said
what are some things that what happened to you?
You know, you get the typical stuff like he's an Oreo, or like you're pandering to, you know, your white voice is broken, you know, you don't know how to turn it off,